Welcome into my craft room. I'm Heidi Somble, and in today's episode we are going to be making some beautiful spring craft projects using Dollar Tree supplies. Alright, now let's get crafting. This project is so easy, and right now at the Dollar Tree they have these beautiful cups. I'm going to be taking one of these shot glasses that come in a pack of 3, and I'm going to simply glue that onto the one that has the butterflies and it says happiness grows here. I think that this is such a beautiful way to have some extra mood lighting in your home. I'm just going to pop that on, flip it over, let it dry, and then pop some candles in it and put it in my bathroom. This DIY has a free printable for you all to grab. Today we're going to be working with the blue hydrangeas. It'll be linked over on my website where it's virus free and easy to grab. So that link is down below in my description box to go and get it. Now we're going to be using 2 of these large canvases from the Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure there's 2 in a pack. I could be wrong, but it should cost us about $1 to maybe about $2.50 to make these projects that we're about to make right now. So I'm going to go ahead and print out my printer, cut it down to size, and then now I'm going to spray some hairspray on it because it really does lock in the ink onto the paper. Now I'm finding the center point of my frame, or my canvas I mean, and now I'm going to just come in with my hot glue and I'm just going to glue that down. Now I did do a little dollop right in the middle, and I'm working fast so that it doesn't make the paper all lumpy, that the glue doesn't start to dry. I'm making sure that the line, when I put it down, I can smooth it out so it's nice and flat against the canvas. Now I'm going to take some more scrap wood that I had on hand. I actually have a friend in our neighborhood. I was driving by and she waved me down while they were cleaning out their garage and said, "Heidi, I have this big pile of wood. Do you want all of these different stakes?" Which, yes, I love when people give me free wood. So I went ahead and measured out the corners because I wanted these corners to be mitered together in the corners, and I'm just using my miter box and I'm cutting it out. Now you can see that I'm not doing a straight middle cut. I'm cutting at an angle, which is what's going to allow them to miter into each other, which is going to be so cool having this angle cut, and it's going to make it look so high end. I can't even tell you how much online stores, high-end stores charge for artwork like this, and we're basically doing it for the cost of ink, scrap wood that someone gave to me, and the background canvas from the Dollar Tree. So I mean, like, it is so affordable to do these projects yourself and have a beautiful high-end looking home without paying a ton of money. Friends, I try so hard to convince people, don't ever pay those big prices. So now I've decided I wanted to go through and create more of a whitewashed look to the wood, so it takes down some of the yellow warm tone to it, make it more of a high-end farmhouse coastal feel. And then I decided to come in with a tan paint to just make the canvas look more like it was covered in fabric, more high-end looking than it just being a canvas. I went around that a couple times, dried it with my heat gun, and now that my wood's all dry and done, I can go ahead and add in some E6000 and some hot glue and just pop my frame right into place, making sure things line up properly. And then once that was done and all glued in place, I wanted to make sure that nothing pops off over time, so I just flipped it over and then I stapled it down on the back side with my staple gun, and then I came in with some brown packing paper on the back just to clean up the back side so it has a nice clean finish. I forgot to show that part, but before I put down that finishing paper, I took a rope and I'm just going to flatten down the rope. I untwisted it and I'm going to just glue it down into place as flat as I can, so that way we have an ability to hang it up. And then I did not want to finish it with the rope. So the reason why I like using the rope with the ribbon is it gives it the structure without the ribbon collapsing and looking kind of funky or bunched. So you can see here that I'm just taking my ribbon and lightly gluing the ribbon onto the rope to create that structure without it having it being bunched or funny or pulling weird. And then the rope is staying in place and it allows it to hang up really nicely and very high-end looking. So once I had my ribbon nice and flat the way I wanted it to, I went ahead and made a couple little cuts and then added a bow right onto the top, allowing me to be able to hang it up without any issues with the bow. My inspiration for this DIY came from Antique Farmhouse. I loved this metal scoop but would never pay that much for a metal scoop. So I'm going to use some items from the Dollar Tree and we're going to build our very own, showing all the steps on how I put this together. I'm going to take a leftover dowel stick that I had from the Dollar Tree from another project, and I'm going to take 2 of these long plaque signs from the Dollar Tree, as well as 4 or 5 of these long tongue depressor sticks that I get from Walmart. Then I'm going to cut down my dowel to 2 handles that I'm going to be using because I'm going to be making 2 shovels for myself. And then once I sanded out the ends and it's nice and smooth, I went ahead and got the large tongue depressor sticks, and I'm going to simply sketch a curved end like the inspiration. It was rounded at the end. And I'm going to take my scissors and just simply cut that part off and then make sure the other end is the right length of the plaque. Once I have that all settled, I went ahead and traced that another time for the opposite side. And since I'm making 2, I actually traced 4 of these. So I went ahead and repeated that, cut those ends off that I don't want or need. And then at that point I was ready to start assembling the sides. So I added a bead of glue, and then I took that siding and I lined it up, and I wanted to make sure there was a little bit overhang on the back because we're going to sandwich on the back part, and I'm going to show you how to make it even stronger. Then on the inside I'm going to add some hot glue to strengthen it to make sure that it's holding nice and tight. Then on the end I'm going to take another one of the sticks and I'm going to make sure that it's going to be long enough to sandwich between the sides. I wanted to be able to make sure that it would fit in there because I'm actually going to add another piece to the back to strengthen it. This sandwiching it in is really going to allow this to become a lot stronger and to hold in place. So once I had that part in there, I went ahead and traced another one, and I'm going to put that on the back. But before I did that, I added in some more hot glue in those corners to really strengthen it. And then at that point I took another one and cut it longer to fit all the way across the whole back. So it's going to come all the way past that part where I sandwiched the one in between. It's just a hair longer than the other one. And then I'm going to bring it nice and tight as I can together to make sure the seam is very minimal. At this point, this thing is so sturdy on the back side that if you pick it up with the handle, there's not going to be any problems, and it really was brought together nicely. Now we're going to go ahead and put the handle on our little scoop shovel. I'm going to actually drill a hole. This doesn't have this in the inspiration. I thought it would be cool to drill a hole in it because then you can hang these up on some type of a cute rack to display them. Or, I don't know, I just like the twine on the end. Personally, it's just my preference and style for this project. Then I'm going to use a smaller drill out a hole in the middle of it to get that for the screw that we're going to be using in just a second. I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile just because I have this tool on hand and I don't want to cause any issues with these popsicle sticks. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my screw in and get it started. Then I'm going to take my dowel and screw that on just a little bit to get it going. And then drill down in there a little bit more. Now before I locked everything into place, I decided I wanted the handle to be even stronger. So I went ahead and also grabbed some of my wood glue so that way I can kind of put that down in there a little bit to make sure it was really going to bond and glue and hold nicely to the shovel base. So you can see here that I'm just kind of twisting that a little bit around, making sure the glue is all the way around it. And then I went ahead and screwed the last in to tighten the handle. At this point, we have created the official size and look of our inspiration. So now we can go ahead and start working on the color. I used a lot of brown, and then I added in some black, not too much of black. We want to still have the brown popping through. Painted that whole thing with a really dark brown color. Then I came back in with a light brown and dry brushed it to give it a little bit of a rusty textured look. And then I'm adding in a little bit of the white to dry brush on that. And then I just kind of roughed it up where I wanted it to, added back in some more texture until I was happy with the look. Now I'm going to go ahead and add on my twine. I just came through and did a simple knot. And at this point, I think it's a pretty good knockoff from what the inspiration was. And I made these so much more affordable than what the inspiration was from the store. Now I would not recommend scooping them with food, but definitely as home decor, mine was $2 versus $26. These are the supplies that I'm going to be using. This beautiful stencil from Studio R12. I'll link it down below. They're my new favorite stencil company. This wood sign that I found in the craft section at the Dollar Tree, some blue paint, some drop cloth fabric that I just cut down to size, and then some gold push pins from the school supply section at the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to take some painter's tape and I'm going to create some stripes by using some painter's tape and some washi tape, and I'm going to just put down different sizes because we're going to be making almost like a ticking stripe fabric, and we're going to use some paint to get that stripe. Now I love this technique because the possibilities are endless. You can do all kinds of different colors, different thicknesses of stripes, and then when you remove the painter's tape, make sure it's pressed down nice and tight onto the fabric so you've got a good seal. When you remove the painter's tape, you're going to see this beautiful stripe on the fabric. You could do this with pillows and all kinds of different techniques. You can put this inside of a frame. So I'm now moving on to my stencil that's got this little bumblebee on it, a crown, and a wreath. I think this stencil is so beautiful, and it's so great for this time of year going into spring, summer, and sometimes even a little bit into fall, depending on what your home decor style is. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull off the stencil, and now I'm going to cut it down because we're going to take this fabric and make a pocket onto this wooden sign from the craft section at the Dollar Tree. Go ahead and just put some glue, pull it around nice and snug, and then make sure you get the bottom nice and tight on there too, so it's a nice clean finish. And you can see here that I'm taking those push pins and I'm hammering them into the sides to give it a very high-end look. Now the gold was a little too shiny, so I went ahead and distressed it with some brown paint. Now I'm adding in some florals, and then on the back side, because I love a finished project, I'm going to take some of this gingham ribbon and just glue that onto it to clean it up. This project is so easy to do, and it's so cute because you can do all different types of things with it. I've picked up 3 of these little gold frames from the Dollar Tree, some of these keys from Amazon, I'll link them down below, and then I'm going to use my paper pad that I've just been using all this season. It's the Maggie Holmes Collection Garden Party. I'm going to use this tag paper, and I'm going to cut out the size that I need for the 3 different frames, and I'm just going to glue that right onto the backing of the frame. I've decided to use the glass at the front of the frame just like how you normally would put a picture in, and put the backing on it because I found that it made the keys stick to it a lot better than trying to stick it to the paper. I just liked how it looked better. So I'm going to go ahead and use some E6000, and I'm going to put that on the key as gently and cleanly as possible. And then I'm going to just take those keys and I'm going to glue them onto the front of the glass. I think these are so cute. I actually saw this at a super expensive farmhouse decor store. You guys, they were charging $25 for these key frames. I giggled. I try so hard to be respectful in those stores because I love getting the ideas there, but I just can't get over the prices that they charge for things sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for the inspiration. I just can't pay those prices. So go ahead and glue down your different keys with different pattern papers behind it. And then when you're done, these are so cute to put as a cluster on a bookshelf in your home somewhere. This DIY is a look for less project. Now, I could not believe that these were so expensive, and all it really is a couple of pieces of wood that are painted to look just like it. So I went ahead and cut those pieces outside from some old scrap wood that I happen to have on hand, and each one of the faces of these blocks are a different color. So I'm going to go with a white, and then a really pretty icy blue, and then the very last one is a tan color. I really love trying to color match. It's one of my favorite things to do when it comes to painting. So I'm just doing a really nice one coat on the front of these blocks because I wanted to have that rustic distressed look that you saw in the inspiration. And then for the very last one, I'm just adding in some more of the lighter color to make sure that it matches. Once I had that all painted, I came around on the back side with a really dark slate brownish gray color, and this looks just like the one from the inspiration. I'm just going to go all around all the sides and around the back, and then I did that on all of them so that they all had that same look. Now, this particular wood came from the wall between our living room and our kitchen when I ripped it down myself. So I have so much extra wood on hand all the time because of that one DIY that I did. And now I wanted to show you all, I know some of you are really nervous to hand letter paint and some of you still don't have a cutting vinyl machine yet. So if you have stamps on hand, I like to use an acrylic block and acrylic stamps. And I'm just going to test it out first with the paint to make sure it's adhering smoothly to the acrylic stamp. And then I'm just going to stamp it right on. This is a great way to get lettering on your projects without feeling like you have to be really good at hand painting or buying a really expensive machine. Now, I will say I do love my big expensive machine, my Cricut, but I definitely want you to know that there are other options. So here I am, I'm going through and I'm stamping on all of their different quotes. And by the end, it looks exactly like the inspiration, and I did this project for free. So just know that there are so many fun projects out there that don't cost anything. I truly feel like craft supplies can come pretty much from anywhere as long as you have the desire to be creative. Don't forget to come over to Instagram to say hi to me over there, and don't forget to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos coming up in the future. I'm going to recommend this video right here at the end. I hope you enjoyed this video today and that you will go and check out this other video as well. Oh, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too. And until the next episode, bye friends.